Trapped in a terrifying island full of hostile demonic monsters, the protagonist, who looks like a monster himself, needs to repair a boat and set sail and leave this cursed place, having a trusty companion who helps him out, being a talking crow. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and welcome to Pumpkin Panic, which is a very strange and scary farming simulator with really interesting characters. You're a man with a pumpkin face who is trapped in what seems to be an island with hostile creatures. Everything in this place seems to want to kill you, leaving you no choice but to leave this island using a derelict boat which needs some repair to start working. The pumpkin man has to plant, plow, water and harvest certain plants in a farming simulator style in order to get enough money to buy 4 gears, which would be just about enough to repair the boat so that he can take off, hopefully to a better and safer place. Despite everything seeming to want to kill the pumpkin man, there are certain creatures that he can befriend. And on the other hand, some creatures have a bizarre nature and ambiguous backstories who are not necessarily hostile and deadly, but could be. The story begins with a mysterious voice calling out to the pumpkin man, telling him to wake up.
Hey, why are you still in bed? You should be working on the farm. Get up, come on.
This mysterious voice seems to belong to a crow, who happens to be an ally to the pumpkin man, showing him instructions and the things that he needs to do to get off this cursed island. This crow provides the protagonist with some seeds which he should use on a fertile piece of land, which will grow low-entry plants, which will get him money magically. There are a few different locked lands which grow more pricey plants, giving the pumpkin man more money so that he can buy the gears sooner. But the catch is they take much longer to grow and cost a lot to unlock them and to buy their seeds. There is a water well which the pumpkin man needs to use to refill his bucket so that he can water the plants. The demonic entity which we need to look out for is someone by the name of Shadow Pumpkin. This is the description of this terrifying being.
There's something lurking under my bed. It's like a shadow of myself. If I stay inside for too long, it will come, slowly walking towards me. I can feel it draining my energy when it's close to me.
The shadow entity is identical to the pumpkin man, except it is fully shrouded in darkness with glowing red eyes. If the pumpkin man stays inside the cabin for about a minute, the shadow entity comes out from underneath the bed, going after the pumpkin man and consuming his life force. The candles inside the cabin indicate the passage of time and how close the shadow pumpkin is from appearing. There are 3 candles, with each lasting roughly 20 seconds. When all 3 are put off, the shadow appears. This entity might be the representation of Pumpkin Man's sanity, which is running low and draining his energy the longer that he stays inside the cabin and cowering from the monsters outside. The monsters outside are truly terrifying and deadly, but staying inside in fear of them makes them become even scarier, with the mind being too powerful, over-exaggerating them even more. So this shadow entity could be the representation of fear and paranoia, all manifested from the depths of mind. Moving on, looking around the fenced little part of island, which is nearby a dock, there are multiple signboards on the outside, warning people from feeding or touching the deer. We later learn the reason to why, when the harmless deer breaks through one part of the fence and slowly walks towards the pumpkin man. When the deer is close enough, it transforms into a monstrous entity, an equivalent to a Wendigo, which in here is called Wendigo. The description of this creature reads:
At first glance, it looks like a cute and innocent deer. But as I get closer, it transforms into a terrifying creature. Its relentless walking is a dangerous threat, especially at night.
That is true, as when the sun sets, the visibility becomes heavily restricted, causing the line of sight to drop, making it difficult to stay clear from the Wendigo. The pumpkin man can use the money that he earns from harvesting the plants to also upgrade his tools and buy resources. As he starts planting and watering, a creepy sound can be heard, which indicates the monster known as Crawler approaching. crawler is super fast, and the only way Pumpkin Man can survive the encounter with him is through hiding inside the cabin. Yet he needs to be careful not to stay inside for too long, as the Shadow Pumpkin will appear. The crawler typically roams the outside for about 30 seconds, so Pumpkin Man can surely be safe inside.
This monster appears blind, but it can detect any nearby creature with unsettling precision. It moves swiftly on all fours, emitting a loud noise as it passes. After ambushing its prey, it quickly hides among the trees.
After the crawler fails to find the Pumpkin Man, it goes hiding in the trees yet again, which is followed by another tune playing, indicating that it's gone. Some things that can be upgraded are the amount of money earned from harvests, the speed when sprinting, the capacity of the bucket and speed of filling it, the capacity of the bag carrying the seeds, and the oil storage for the lantern. The keys to the certain farming lands can be purchased alongside oil for the lantern, and of course the gears needed to repair the boat. Eventually, a note is seen nailed to the cabin, instructing the Pumpkin Man to follow the song of a clown. In the outside beside the cabin, there is a table with a circular saw which Pumpkin Man can feed branches and bushes to, which in return gives him money. When the sun goes down, outside becomes pitch black, being impossible to see. The only way we can navigate is using a lantern which consumes oil. That's something we have to watch out for, as when the oil runs out, it becomes almost impossible to navigate in the outside. At night, while filling the bucket, a strange smiling shadow entity appears from the well, being a well monster, which doesn't harm the Pumpkin Man at all. It just pokes its head out, literally trolling us, then quickly going back in. Not much is known about this entity, and as it doesn't harm us, we can call him a good boy. Now, two other entities found at night are the happy and sad clowns. The note stuck on the outside of the cabin makes sense now to be from the clowns. The clowns play a tune at night, which we need to follow to get to the clowns. These entities are not immediately hostile, but the sad clown can become hostile, and there would be no escape from it when it is, even when hiding inside the cabin. The happy clown plays a tune when we have to go to it. It offers us a red balloon before hopping away and vanishing. This tune plays only for about 1 minute or so, until it is gone forever. We need to take this red balloon and give it to the sad clown, who also plays a tune for a minute or so, which is a wailing and crying kind of tune. If in either part, whether failing to take the balloon and missing the happy clown, or failing to find the sad clown and giving the balloon to him at the right time, the sad clown becomes enraged and has a meltdown, chasing after the Pumpkin Man and one-shotting him. These clowns come back every single night, and we have to give the red balloon to the sad clown so he can also be maybe the happy clown. Nighttime is even more dangerous and risky, as the deer is still roaming about, being a lot more difficult to see. While running around to find the clowns, it becomes very likely to get too close to it.
Happy Clown is a very sinister clown with a really creepy smile. From the darkness of the night, I can hear his eerie melody. I don't know why, but it seems he wants to offer me a red balloon. I've come across another clown, but this one is sad. His crying echoes in the darkness, filling the air with a sad melody. I think he lost his balloon. Maybe I could get him another.
Their backstory is really ambiguous and strange, but somehow these clowns seem to be supernatural entities, being some sort of duality and connected to each other. The happy clown, despite looking sinister, offers a red balloon to the sad clown to make him feel better. It's unclear why he uses the Pumpkin Man as the vessel to deliver the balloon to the sad clown. Inside the cabin, when it is nighttime, the painting changes in a sinister manner, with a shadow entity appearing in front of another person who is hiding behind the fence. The painting portrays this patch of fenced land the Pumpkin Man is in, with the shadow figure portraying the menacing entities, and also the shadow pumpkin being the monstrous counterpart to Pumpkin Man. If this is perceived in a symbolic way, the shadow pumpkin can be seen as the inner darkness of the protagonist, who is there to physically and mentally hurt him. The description itself mentioning how the shadow pumpkin drains the energy of the protagonist explains how it is more of a symbolic evil force deeply rooted within the protagonist himself. Not every single creature is hostile though, as the protagonist can make some friends with some animals, essentially having them as pets. And there's a cute little pit house next to the cabin. I managed to get Henry, who happens to be a crow in the same shape of the crow that we meet in the beginning of the game, who helps us wake up and get to work escaping this cursed island. Henry is a special little fella, as he not only follows us around and gives us emotional support in this horrifying place, but Henry also manages to find coins all over the place. Coins can be sold for quite a lot of money, and also they can be used to unlock different outfits for the protagonist. Why not survive in this hostile island and do some farming in fashion? At the pier next to the boat, we also can find the fishing contraption, which catches fish, meaning more money. Finally managing to get the boat working to set sail and leave this island, the crow follows the Pumpkin Man and they leave together. The backstory of the Pumpkin Man and the crow is not fully unveiled, but clearly they have some sort of underlying connection or companionship. The crow is able to speak and communicate with the Pumpkin Man, and he clearly seems to be acquainted with the protagonist. He pushes him to get up and get to work, as there is not much time left and they should leave. So it's clear they worked together from before to find a way out, somehow finding themselves in this deadly and monster-ridden island. Somehow, for some reason, planting the seeds gave them money, which they would then be able to use to repair the boat. According to the painting and the fence around the land, it seems the protagonist built this place with the crow being their last stance before heading off to safety, finding a derelict boat which needed fixing, but they had to spend some time before managing to fix it and leave, so they put a fence around their territory and started farming, selling them off, so they can get the right tools to get the boat working. There's also a different mode called Nightmare, which has more lore in it, possibly telling us the backstory of the game. I tried beating it and getting as much information as I could, but the Nightmare mode is truly nightmarish and punishing. It's not a walk in the park, with the monsters being more hostile, faster, and not giving as much clue or indication before attacking. Depending on how this video will do, I will possibly work on the Nightmare mode as well and try to beat it. And that is it for this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.